Hello everyone, welcome back to our On-Air Airline Manager career stream. And as you can see, it is early morning here in Alaska. Last two legs didn't go really as planned, and we learned from it a lot. Like I personally learned a lot from it. So let's go ahead and get a new mission for today on our quest to heading back to Anchorage. We are very close to Anchorage, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna find missions to head back directly to Merrifield, where our base is at. So let's go to jobs and find some jobs. We have a pending one from Merrifield, which is our level up missions. So once we get there, we can start working on our level up mission. Right now, we'll head to Logistics Center. We'll choose Kodiak 100, airport minimum size 2, and let's go ahead. I think we should have enough fuel for this leg too. It shouldn't be too long. Ted Stevens, Anchorage. And basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to go to Merrifield. So let's see if we find anything on Merrifield. What if we do one? I mean, from here there should be a mission that goes straight to Merrifield actually. Or what we might have to do is we might have to just go to Ted Stevens, and then from there we'll have to relocate our aircraft to Merrifield. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. So let's go ahead and choose Ted Stevens, and we are going to, it's a very short 27. We have 2 missions and we can definitely carry both of those. So let's go ahead, take those missions and load up our aircraft. So in terms of fuel, we should have enough fuel with 30 minutes of reserve. I mean, there's no FPO anyways, so let's go ahead and load them up. And we just gotta remember our cargo is 925 and fuel is 762. Let me just quickly write that down. So our fuel is 762 and our cargo is gonna be 925, so that we can load it up on our simulator. So let's go ahead, validate our fuel and payload here, and it's gonna take about a minute, and we can take that time to set up our weight and balance. Look at the dramatic morning sun. The weather is not looking too good as of right now. First thing, we're gonna set our crew of just 1, so we can remove them. And then in terms of fuel, we have 762. So there you go, 760 should do, and weather changed really quick there. And now let's go ahead and set our cargo. So 290, we're gonna go max 290 over there, and we have around 500 more pounds to add. So we're gonna start with the row to left. We're gonna add about 150 there, and then about 150 here, and then we can add on the main cargo bay, we can add about 100, and that we actually have to add a little bit more. So we're gonna go ahead 100 pounds over here, 980, and there you go. We have, at least from what I can see, we have all the payload. We have 980 instead of 925, and fuel we have 760 instead of 762. So I'm just going to increase the fuel tad bit, and this gives us 781, which should be good. Now once we go press on fly now, let's see what that gives us. And yeah, everything is set. So before I start tracking, I'm gonna head back in, and now we can start tracking, and we'll follow our checklist. We'll reference our checklist actually. So let's go ahead. The few things that I know by heart by now is our fuel shut off left and right, harness for our pilot, and firewall shut off valve can go in. Other than that, I think we're good to go ahead and start our engines. So master switch will come in, avionics switch will come in. Let me quickly drag my screens to my iPad so I can have a direct view. Okay, let's go ahead and start our engine. So I'll turn on the beacon light to begin with, and all the levers I can see on my Bravo throttle quadrant is set. So everything is set. We're gonna go ahead and do a low start. For that, we have to make sure that our battery voltage is good, which is 25. Right now we need minimum 24, so we do have that. So let's go ahead and start our engine on low start. I will turn on auxiliary fuel pump. Starter will ignition will go on and starter will go to low, and our NG is rising. Once it hits minimum 14%, we're gonna go ahead, and there you go. Low idle, and I think I'm gonna put the inlet to bypass because of the outside air temperature. Let's see how close we can get to greens. 50, 51, 52, almost 53. We're gonna go ahead, turn off everything else. Prop can go to max, full forward, generator, alternator, and auxiliary bus can come on. Yeah, I think we have a good engine start. Inlet is set to bypass, and we're gonna go ahead and turn on our pitot heat. Well, with that turned on, let's go ahead, turn on nav lights as well, and we can head to our MFD here to basically plan our flight. NG is still 52%, so I'm gonna just bring in my throttle a little bit, and there you go. So we're gonna keep it on greens here. We'll go to flight plan, and right now we are in pause. So let's go put that in. Whiskey and Sierra. There you go, Wasilla, and the weather is 290 at 3 knots. What are the runway options we have? We can go ahead and choose runway 22 for that, very simple, and we are heading to Papa, Alpha, November, and Charlie. So there you go, Ted Stevens Anchorage International. We have that. The winds are at 010 at 7 knots. So the runway that I can go 010. I think we're gonna go with runway 07 right or runway 07 left, one of those. I'm gonna just go ahead and choose runway 07 right over here, and then we can go to destination. Let's see, the runway we chose is good. It's gonna be a little bit crosswind. 010. I think we are gonna change when we are choosing our procedure. We'll change the runway from that to RNF GPS runway 33. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Hopper. I think we can choose Zerine as our initial approach fix for minimum. So I'm gonna go radio altimeter of 500 feet, and we can go ahead and load that flight plan. So 31 nautical miles. With that said, let's go to our origin and get our altimeter. So altimeter is 2974. So I'm gonna go here and 2974. So there you go, altimeter is set to 2974. We're gonna put our CDI to GPS, and for our altitude we should actually go here and check at 3000 feet is our initial approach fix. So we're gonna choose about 4500 for our cruising altitude, or actually 5500 depending on the depending on all the mountains around us. So with all that set, let's choose our vertical speed, and we're gonna climb in at about 1800 feet to begin with. With all that set, I think we should be good. I'm just gonna set my trims for my takeoff. So let's go ahead. I think this is gonna be good for our trims setup, and I'm gonna go ahead also set my rudder trim to be a little bit to the right. Let's set our flaps for takeoff, and with that I think we are good to taxi to our runway and take off. So we're gonna go straight, and then we'll figure out a way to get out of here. Let me go through our checklist item to make sure that we are good. So starting engine is done, taxi, and before taxi. Okay, cabin heat, ventilation and defrost is set. Altimeter is set. Transponder, we don't need that today, we're not flying with ATC. Flight controls, we are good. Taxi light can come on. And that is it for our checklist for taxi. So parking brake off, and we are heading towards our runway. I'm not really sure which way the taxiway is. It is very hard to figure that out. So we are just gonna go. We have Tundra tires, so we can go over the snow without any issues. I think that is the taxiway somewhere over there. I mean, this line does look like. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the checklist while we are holding short of the runway, and I'll also make sure that all my other applications are running. So we can go ahead, hold short right here. Okay, let's go through our checklist for before takeoff. Parking brake is set. Flight controls are free and correct. Flight instruments, yes, it is set and it is a-okay. We'll set our camera there. All the trims. Elevator trim is set. Rudder trim is set. Inertial separator is on bypass due to the outside air temperature of -14. And with all that, we can go ahead and turn on the auxiliary fuel pump. Fuel selector, fuel shut off, everything is on. Fuel quality is good. Wing flaps is set. Elevator trim is set. Rudder trim is set. And static heat is on as well. Well, we can go ahead, put our fuel condition lever to high idle. Take the parking brake off. Landing and strobe can come on. Taxi light can go off. And we'll go ahead and line up with the runway and take off. Hopefully there won't be any drama today, just like last few streams. Let me see here better. Okay, I think we're not gonna waste too much runway, so we're gonna hold right here with our toe brakes, and we're gonna increase our throttle. We're gonna lift off at around 65. There we go, we have normal liftoff. Almost reaching 85 knots, so flaps can come to 10. We're getting to 90 and closing to 95, flaps completely up. Now here we have to take a left-hand turn, not a full left-hand turn, but just a slight left turn to intercept that GPS waypoint. Not waypoint actually, the GPS line as I like to call it.
Wind 300 at 2 knots.
Auxiliary fuel pump can go off. Flaps are fully up. And if you want, we can go ahead and turn on our autopilot. We're also going to go ahead to procedure page and activate our procedure. Very beautiful morning here, apart from few clouds, few angry clouds looking ahead, straight ahead of us. And let me set my heading bug. So we are trying to climb to about 5,500 feet. If I zoom out from my inset map, we don't really have to go all the way up there, so we're gonna settle in at 4,500. So there you go. It's a very short flight, so we don't really need to go that high. We're already above one layer of clouds, and our plan is once we get to our destination, we are going to go ahead and relocate our plane, so probably no mission at all. We'll just fly to Merrill Field, which is like few nautical miles away. Few as in like I think single digit nautical miles away. In the back you can see the boxes. Let me quickly show you. So we are basically delivering these boxes, these cargo, to our destination, and look at that beautiful sunrise. So going forward, we're gonna try to do missions on places that we are comfortable and runways that we can see. Because of the weather and everything, it's really hard to see the runways in most of these remote places. Just bringing down my RPM to about 2000 for our cruise. So our engine is set for cruising, and we are heading towards Zirin for our RNAV approach to runway 33. Let's go ahead with our after takeoff checklist. So let's go ahead and turn our yaw damper, which is what I forgot, and also reset our rudder trim. That's something my bad. I also switched my yoke, so that's why I don't have rudder trim on my index finger anymore. I mean my thumb. So this is why I have forgotten that, but that is good. Flaps are up, yaw damper is on, auxiliary fuel pump is on standby, static heat is on, inertial separator is on bypass mode because of the outside air temperature, landing lights are on, and we are good here. We're gonna cross through a very angry cloud here. Now top of descent is about 5 minutes away, so let's go ahead and set our altitude. I can see our final approach fixed altitude over here is 1200 feet, so I'm gonna go ahead and set our altitude to 1000 feet and push the VNAV button, so we don't have to worry about the descent other than power management. So VPAT is armed, you can see on our PFD, so we should be good. For our descent checklist, before we get to descent, our static heat and inertial separator will be set. Approach procedure, we have activated that. Yes, that is activated, and landing lights are already on. And power, we just have to set according to our descent, however we would like to descend. A lot of angry clouds around here. Look at this left of us, left and right, in front of us, everywhere. So one quick thing, let's go to our MFD and we're gonna go to our destination airport. So destination altimeter is 2974. So with that info we can go to our PFD 2974. It is actually set, so we don't have to worry about anything. The altimeter is same. We just have to worry about the power when we start descending. I don't know how to set the brightness for these screens. Yeah, I have no idea about the brightness. Is it this? No. Yeah, I actually don't know how to set the brightness for these screens because it looks very, very bright from this view. Well, that is fine. We are flying over some snow-capped land. Everything that I've seen, wow, a new word. Everything that I've seen here in Alaska is all white, like everything is snow-capped, snow-covered, even the lakes. We're about 2.5 minutes away from our top of descent, and then we should start our initial descent for RNAV approach to runway 33. We're just about a minute away from starting our initial descent. Just going through our checklist one more time, and everything is looking good. Once we are on our approach, we are going to set everything up for our landing. Right now the airport should be somewhere over here underneath these clouds, and we should be able to see it pretty shortly because as far as I remember the clouds are not too bad in our destination. So here you go, the cloud information, overcast at 050. Visibility is good, so a little bit overcast, and the ceiling of the cloud is basically at 050, so we might not see the airport until we are like about to land. And that is fine by me. We've started our descent, so I'm gonna cut down on my speed here. The weather has not been looking too good here in Alaska so far. I think it's gonna be more fun and visually more appealing when we do flights during spring or summer, but so far it hasn't been looking that too good. And one of the reasons why I changed my yoke is I realized that my Logitech yoke, it's no longer good, and when I'm trying to pull it or push it, there's a lot of resistance and sometimes it just gives up. So like during landing especially, it was a hassle because I never knew how much nose up my aircraft was, because sometimes the yoke got stuck and it was just stuck in one position, or even when I was pulling it, it was not responding. So because of all those, I decided that, you know what, my Thrustmaster side stick for Airbus is just good enough, and I think I'm very happy with it. So that is why I decided we are gonna change our yoke, and I'm actually much more happier right now. I did a test flight before and it was just like before. We were able to land smooth, and hopefully we're gonna do a good landing this time as well. So the airport should be at, yeah, there you go, we can see a little bit through that gap. Wow, that's cool. One of the runway, I think that was runway 07. Yeah, that should be runway 07. So our next stop of descent is in about 2.5 minutes, and we'll start our final descent in just a bit, in about 2 minutes. So the right side looks very clear, but there are more clouds on the left side. We're gonna try to stay within 140 knots, not trying to overspeed too much. So the plan is, once we are very close to final approach fix, we'll put our flaps to 10, we'll turn off our yaw damper, and we're gonna go full forward for our prop, and we'll turn on our auxiliary fuel pump. And then as we cross over initial approach, final approach fix, we'll put our flaps to 20, and then we're just gonna keep on setting up for our final setting for landing. Look at that, the entire lake down there is white. Let's bring our power a little bit back, staying within just 140 knots. We have headwind right now, and hoping that for landing 2 we made the right choice, runway 33, because the winds are coming at 010. We might have a little bit of crosswind, but that is okay. We'll stay within 135, 140 knots, so we can set our flaps to 10 once we are closing to our final approach fix, and for that the flap 10 speed limit is 138 knots. So 135, 140 should be good. Here you can see our runway light, that is most probably on the runway that we're gonna land on. Quite a bit of wind we have, almost gusting to 18 knots. Let me just quickly check the METAR one more time. Date update. No, nothing. 010 at 7 knots. Still the same METAR. So I think we are still good on the runway choice we made. Some very strong crosswind. So I'm gonna cut down my power over here just to make sure we are within the speeds that we want to for our approach, our final approach. We can go ahead and put our flaps to 10 once we are comfortable. I'm going to put my RPM to full forward, and we'll set our flaps to 10. Once you put your flaps, Kodiak tends to lose speed very rapidly, so you gotta be careful with that. And right about right now I'm gonna push the approach button, so we have glide path if we need that. We won't need that. It's pretty good. The winds are still a bit strong, so I'm just gonna wait for a little bit before I take control. But we are basically set for the landing with just few things to do, and we are going towards our final approach fix. Pull my power back up as we are losing speed a lot. Your damper can come off, auxiliary fuel pump can come on. So we are on glide path here. I'll set my flaps to 20. And there you go, flaps full. I'll go ahead and shut off the autopilot as well. So we're gonna hand fly the rest of it. and flying this aircraft is very, very fun. You just gotta be a little bit careful with the power. We have a very long runway up ahead of us, and our plane doesn't need that much, so we can go ahead and land wherever we want, and we'll still be fine. That's the fun of this aircraft. A little bit of crosswind. I mean, we're still good. The wind is coming more from head than cross, so we should be good with the landing. Landing checklist: flaps is full, fuel damper is off, auxiliary fuel pump is on, and that is it. Just gotta make sure. Seems like we're very low on the happy lights. Start cutting my power here as we are reaching the runway threshold. We are good for landing. I'm gonna cut down my power, hold the plane up. Just dropped a little bit, yeah. So that's the thing, another thing with Kodiak. That was a hard landing actually. So the moment I cut my power, it is just gonna drop out of the sky. Gotta be very careful with that. I shouldn't have cut the power there, but that's fine. We should be still good. The landing was just a tad bit hard, that's all. I'm gonna go ahead, pull all our flaps up. Auxiliary fuel pump can come off. We're just gonna wait to find the next taxiway, which is coming up in front of us, and which will lead us to the ramp where we can unload and figure out what we're gonna do to get to Melfield. We might just, have a regular flight and go there. Taxiway coming up in front of us. So yeah, Kodiak is a little bit sensitive of a plane. Just gotta make sure everything is doing good. Taxi light will come on, landing and strobe is gonna go off. And we're gonna go straight ahead and park on the ramp here. Which is hardly visible, like anything is hardly visible in here. So we're gonna take a left here. Fuel condition lever can come to low idle, and we're gonna park somewhere on our right here. So let's go ahead, park over here. Hopefully nobody's gonna mind. So parking brake set, taxi light can go off, all the flaps are up, and we should be good to turn off our engine. Before that, let's turn off our heating or cooling system. Auxiliary bus can go off, alternator generator off, and we can go ahead and cut our engine.
Off time log. The flight is finished. It has been
Beacon light can go
by
off,
OnAir.
and nav will stay on. The landing was hard, not good. And I think, yeah, that is pretty much it for this leg. Now let's see how we can go to Merrifield from here. I think, yeah, we're just gonna take off from here and then go ahead and land here. I wish we just had a flight directly over there for some mission or something. Let's see if we can carry at least something. Nope, nothing. It's just two. So we just have to go over here, Melfield. So we are just going to do, what is freelance? Nope, nothing. So for our level up mission, we'll actually have to just fly the small leg. So I'm not gonna do anything here. Let me see if there's a relocation service that we can do. Nothing really. We can do nothing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply gonna go to my MFD. We'll go to menu and we're gonna invert the flight, and then we're just gonna change our destination. So we're gonna clear this, and our destination is gonna be Merrifield, which is Papa Alpha Mike Romeo. There you go. The winds are 360 at 4 knots. Let's see what runway we have. We can go ahead for runway 34. For procedure, we're just gonna do visual runway 34 and straight. We don't need any of that. That is fine. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna take runway 07, and then basically we fly, and yeah, we're gonna do the entire flight hand flying, and we won't care what OnAir Airline Manager thinks about that. Well, let's go ahead, turn our engine so beacon can come on, and we are going to turn on our auxiliary fuel pump, starter, and there you go. Starter goes to low. So we're gonna pull off our NG 14%, so fuel condition lever goes to low idle, and we're gonna wait and see if it goes to green. If it doesn't, we're gonna just increase the torque a little bit, which should get us to greens in NG. 49, 50, so it's not. So I'm gonna increase the, there you go, in greens, which means prop can come to max. And with that auxiliary bus, generator alternator can come on. And yeah, we have a good engine start. We don't have to worry about anything else right now. We have enough fuel too. Everything is on. There you go. Altimeter is set as well. So we're gonna set our flaps for takeoff. And we are going to turn on our taxi light. And let's go ahead. Taxi to runway 07. I think this is the first time we're flying empty on OnAir Airline Manager, but we don't really have an option. Something is stuck in our tire or something like that. The aircraft is just not moving. While we're doing all that, I'm gonna go ahead and increase my rudder trim for takeoff. Let's go ahead, check this. Yep, this bad boy needs to go down as well. this should be good. We're just watching the synthetic vision on our PFD to make make sense of the taxiways and all that. And we're trying to go to runway 07, which is on our left. Yeah, that is a taxiway. That looks like a taxiway. For some reason, taxiing is taking a lot of power as well. So we're gonna take a left on this taxiway. This taxi might be longer than the entire flight itself. Seems like we're going a little bit of downhill. So we're gonna take a right, not on these, but at the end of this taxiway to use our runway 07. I'm thinking, will it even cover the flight that we're doing? Let me see if I can figure something out, because in the map it shows that we are moving but the aircraft is not. Like it says literally it's on idle. Like no. Prepare for next flight. Destination is Railfield and we will fly now. Yep, we are going to fly now. And it's gonna track. Yeah, I think this is what we'd have to do in order to just fly a free mission.
Monitored until you land and shut down the engines.
Okay, well that was smart to get over with. So let's go ahead and take a right on the next taxiway. Not this one, but the next one, as I can see on my map. And we'll have to cross runway 33 to get to runway 07. I don't really need any flight plan information right now. I guess we take this right over here. Nobody's on approach or final, and we should be able to clear this runway easy. I'm just gonna take this left, and we don't need to use the entire runway, So we're gonna go ahead and take off from one of the touchdown zones. Once again, there is no passenger or cargo in this flight. That is why we are doing this. So we're gonna stop right over here. Brake is set. Auxiliary fuel pump can come on. Fuel condition lever can go to high idle. Flaps are set. Trims are set. Let me just confirm one more time. Yep, trims are set. Rudder trim is set. Landing strobe can come on. Taxi light can go off. And I think we're good. Parking brake goes off. And we're gonna line up and take off. The entire flight will be hand flown. It is like very short flight. Okay, we are good here, lined up. Don't waste too much runway. We're gonna take off at 62-65 knots. A lot of right rudder needed, even though we did rudder trim. So let's go ahead, take off. Okay, we're off the ground. Auxiliary fuel pump can come off. Flaps can go to 10 as we get closer to 85 and we cross 85. So we're crossing 95, so flaps is fully up. I'm gonna reset my rudder trim. Your damper can come on.
Wind 010 at 10 knots.
We're basically gonna follow that that pink line, and we should be good. So I'm gonna drop my power here. We're not gonna try to climb too much. 1000 feet should be more than enough. See a little bit of faint light for the runway light. I'm gonna stay here. I'm not putting the speed too high. We don't really want to travel too much here. We'll try to take that turn to line up with the runway. I'm gonna go ahead and put our flaps to 10. Fuel damper can come off. Auxiliary fuel pump can come on. And I see the runway. Cut our power here. Flaps can go to 20. Your damper is already off, so we are pretty good, solid for the landing. Bring up my power just a little bit more as we're dropping, and to work a little bit more on this aircraft, especially the power management. That throws me off a little bit. We're trying to hold this altitude as we dropped a little bit early on. I already see the runway, so no problems there. Our flaps can go full. touchdown. Very, very soft touchdown here. We're gonna take the next taxiway and we should be at the ramp. Thinking if I should do at least one leg of the special mission. You know what? Let's go ahead and do it. So once we go there, taxi light can come on, landing strobe off, fuel condition level low idle, flaps fully up. And we're gonna go ahead and stay on the ramp somewhere there. A quick repositioning flight. Our touchdown was at 56 feet per minute, so very, very soft. We're just trying to find a ramp here. Once we get on a ramp, we should be good to load up for one of our special missions. And we'll be on the way. So we're gonna take the next right to enter the ramp. And we can just stay right over here. So there you go, we'll stay right over here. Light can go off, parking brake can come on. Auxiliary fuel pump, I forgot to turn that off, that is fine. I'm gonna go ahead, turn off our air conditioning system, generator alternator can go off, and
Engine off,
there
time
you go.
log.
Feather
The
and
flight
cut
is
off
finished.
for prop
It has
and
been monitored by OnAir.
fuel condition lever. Pitot heat can go off. And look at this landing data, super sweet. That is good. So let's go ahead and see what missions. It's a 3-leg mission, so that's something that I know. The first leg would be going from Merrill to Red Devil. I don't know what type of runway that is. I actually have to see. Oh man, this does not look too good. Yeah, it's gonna be very hard for me to really find that. And I'm pretty sure there is no procedure or anything other than visual. So this is gonna be interesting, and from Red Devil we're gonna go all the way to Fairbanks, and then from Fairbanks we'll be back to McGrath. So this airport is size 4, McGrath is size 2, so one more. It's not remote, I would say, still somewhat an okay airport, it looks like, at least. What is wrong with this map? Okay, yeah. So it somewhat looks like an okay airport, but what I'm scared about is the Red Devil, as this is still, I mean, I'm not sure if we can see it, and I don't think there will be any lights or anything like that. We're going to be carrying 4 passengers, so let's open our flight. So we're carrying 4 passengers to Red Devil, and then from Red Devil we're carrying probably the same passengers to Fairbanks, and from Fairbanks we're going to be back to McGrath. So the first one, distance, let's go and load it up. So prepare for next flight, but this time we will need gas. So right now we have enough for 213 nautical miles, but we are going to be going 218 nautical miles. So this is going to be a pretty long flight. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I'm not going to do it on this stream. Sorry about that. We are going to do this and probably the entire mission on our next streaming day. So thanks for watching this, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.